I've shared with all of you a couple times about that. I had this experience. It was called the desert experience, when in the seminary you were off for about a month in the wintertime, and there was the option to go to Blue Point, Long Island for a month of silence. And so I was part of those. There were 15 guys, 3 guys dropped out somewhere in the middle. And of course, when I think back at that, it probably was more of like my competitive edge was like, I'm not going to quit, I'm going to stay, I want to finish this. And so 30 days of silence. And I remember leaving there, and no one was home, and I went to the mall, Livingston Mall, Herman's World of Sporting Goods, Sam Goody, remember those stores? And walking around, and like, oh my God, look at all these beautiful people running around. It was just so great to be a part of everything in the mall, because I was away for so long. And then the colors and the vibrancy of everything, the awareness of taking money out of my wallet and paying for something. It was like incredible, such a heightened awareness. It's almost like a whole nother level of being alive. So much more alive. So much more open to the experience of life itself. And like the saying goes, life is lived forward but understood backwards. At the time, I wasn't really aware of that. I remember even at the end of the 30 days, they says, we have a gift for you for your 30 days of the desert experience. And our gift was, I got a postcard. I'm like, no. So I get this postcard, and the postcard was Isaiah, what Terry just read. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. In stillness shall be your strength. And I still have that card. And when I look back, that was like the coolest gift I could have ever gotten from that 30 days. And when I think of it, again, not having the consciousness and the awareness, I was in the experience of it, but not really grasping what was going on. I realized that I had, in that moment of silence, I had gotten to the point where I had moved out of thought, moved out of incessant thinking, and just moved into just being present to life itself. Descartes is famous for saying, I think, therefore I am. He said, if there's one thing I could be certain of, I think all the time. Incessant thinking. And it was an interesting insight. But it was about 300 years later that Jean-Paul Sartre realized, I think, therefore I am. The ability to be aware that I'm thinking means that who's the one that was aware of the concept of thinking? And Sartre was realizing that that's what it is. We're the awareness that has the thinking. We're the awareness that has the belief or the feeling. So the essence of who we really are is pure awareness. Listen to that when we hear, I am. So powerful, so powerful. God, I am. Form of the verb to be. I am the essence of being itself. Being, human being. I am. Not, I am this or I am that. This and that, that's not who we are. You hear that? I am. To spend time in that silence and that stillness. Could this be part of the homily? Could we just be silent? Here we are in this church, Good Shepherd, where this presence, where or this awareness. To just allow that to be. And what's interesting is that thinking never solves the problem. In fact, it probably makes it worse. But when we come in stillness, when we get in touch with that, there is a creative energy. There is the very source of the divine that emanates through us and from us. And suddenly, a solution emerges out of the creative intelligence of the living God. But it's so important because the tendency that we all have is we become identified with our thinking. I am this, I am that, I am what I have, I am what I look like, I am all the things that have happened to me. No. No. Things have happened to us. And some crummy things have happened to us. I'm sure everybody here has had their heart broken. And yet, those things that happen to us is not who we are. And we have to transcend that. We have to take a look at how we've responded to those things that have happened to us. But that it's got nothing to do with who we are. To practice that stillness. It's the only way we can really get tuned into who we are. Today we hear this gospel passage of Martha and Mary. Such a classic, right? Everybody's heard this, right? Let's just take a look at some of these two sisters, Martha and Mary, right? Jesus comes to their home. And Martha, she's all worried. She's all preoccupied. She's rushing around. She's burning the candle at both ends. She's burnt out. And Mary just sits and rests in the presence and the sacredness of life itself in Jesus. Martha is indignant. She's demanding. She's requiring. Mary is humble. Mary is receptive. Martha is preoccupied with things that need to get done, and she's doing it on her own accord. And what happens? She gets worried, she gets anxious, she's stressed out. Mary understands that there's a source and a power within her, beyond her, to propel her with strength. She's not on her own. She lives in that awareness and that strength. Martha is all preoccupied with the things of the world, everything that's going on, all hot and bothered, Mary's focused on one thing, the presence of the divine in her life. And ironically, that's where strength comes from. Interesting, they were sisters, and I don't know how well they got along, but Martha was really quick to sew Mary under the bus, wasn't she? Can you tell her to help me? What am I? Chopped liver here? I'm doing everything. She's just sitting around. Come on, tell her to get up and help me. You know what? You notice Mary doesn't react. Mary doesn't get defensive. Mary just stays silent. She doesn't even really say anything to her. She just sits there. See, the difference really between Martha and Mary is Martha invited Jesus into her home. Mary invited Jesus into her heart. What a difference. What a difference. You know, when we think of we come here to Good Shepherd, you know what I mean? Such a beautiful, sacred parish family we have. But really, when you think about it, it's ultimately a means to an end. The whole point of us gathering is that we give our heart to Jesus Christ. Anything other than that, it's bankrupt. It's always about giving our heart to Jesus Christ. Richard Rohr, the Franciscan priest, talks about we have this light within us, this divine light that was within us, and it's in every one of us. Everybody has this light inside of them. And when we can go into that light, when we can access that, we find that there's an inner sanctuary of holiness, of peace, of the divine strength inside of us. But we got to go there. I really think when I listen to this gospel passage, the call this morning for everybody here at Good Shepherd is, am I going within? Am I going within myself? And am I giving my heart to Jesus Christ? That is the transformation. And it's interesting when we think of being transformed and born again, really in a sense, it's more of like peeling off who we're not and accessing who we really are. You know, and I know that you don't want me to say this, but last Sunday I was outside and Karen Vanderberg was out there setting up all these incredible creative things for the kids, the youth group. And we were talking, and you had mentioned how important the youth group is to the kids of the youth, and how important Good Shepherd is to all of them. And I got really emotional because right when we were talking, you think about, wow, what a sacred responsibility we have to young people. It makes you sick when any adult has ever mistreated a child. You know, Jesus he got ticked off at the Pharisees selling, $10 lambs for $150, but he really, woe to you who lead one of these little ones astray. Better that you have a millstone tied around your neck and throwing you into the lake. You think about that, it's like, wow, what a sacred responsibility we have with how we treat each other, how we speak to each other, how we speak about each other. Because we're modeling that for those kids in our parish family. They look up to us. This is so important to them. And if they gotta find it here, because oftentimes they're not finding it out there. They have to find their dignity and their love and their respect and their self-worth, and that they are children of the living God, that they have that light within them, that holy inner sanctuary. And we have to model that for them. So Martha and Mary, perhaps there's a little Martha and Mary in all of us, right? But what we have to do is we have to develop and foster the Mary in us. Mary gives her heart to Jesus. And in doing so, not only does she have that strength and inner peace and creative solutions to different problems that she has, more importantly, Mary gets in touch with who she really is. Which is what we're looking for. We're looking for who we really are. And we get so lost in who we're not. And so when we look at Jesus Christ on that cross, to me, I look at that cross and I see Jesus saying, I have given my heart to you. Will you give your heart to me?